Welcome back to Our Canada, Our Future. We're talking housing prices in Canada today with Stephen Moranis, former president of the Toronto Real Estate Board. Stephen, just before the break, you were talking a bit about needing to loosen restrictions to allow for more building. Maybe you could expand a bit on that. What do you think is necessary to help alleviate some of the supply issues in Canada?
Well, I think the governments, both federal and provincial, are sitting on a lot of land banking assets that they have to try to free them up quickly. In Ontario, you've got Downsview Airport, which is 450 acres, 500 acres. And it's just sort of, I hate to say, it's a slow boat to get developers to, put a shovel in the ground and start construction. Part of the problem, there was a test case years ago in Ontario when a developer goes to, whether it's intensification to build low rise or high rise, they submit all their proposals with engineers, architects, planners, and the like, environmental. It goes to municipality, and then they redo all that analysis again, which is a big delay. It could be another year or two, where there should be a way that if a reputable builder with reputable professional service people, suppliers, present a project proposal, there should be some way, it's like a construction bond insurance that verifies and protects that as being legitimate, and not have the municipality redo the work again for another 2 years. And this bottleneck is just happening over and over. It doesn't include, unfortunately, all the sort of not in my neighborhood stuff. So a development comes up for discussion and approval, and of course you've got neighbors saying, I don't want that in my backyard. This, I don't want any more intensity. I don't want any more density. So all these things have to be worked out, and politicians, I like to call it, not in my term of office. It's NIMBY, and then there's Ninto, not in my term of office. So like a counselor at the municipal level wants to side with the voters, and not because they're sort of riding a fine line of staying elected, doing the best they can, and yet not upsetting the voters. So I think that could be easily fast tracked. You've got to unlock supply and speed up the process. It's real simple. The other things, and some of the jurisdictions have been very creative. Vancouver, they're talking about laneway houses. So, where there's laneways, you put in small houses where, people want to live in those neighborhoods. You also can increase the number of units. So, take single family house neighborhoods and allow there to be duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes in those neighborhoods. What's wrong with that? I mean, that's the kind of thing to allow the communities to grow positively, et cetera, et cetera. So I think those are the kinds of things on the supply side which has caused the problems in the last couple of years.
I just wanted to quickly touch on a report that you co-authored with Murtaza Haider for the Macdonald-Laurier Institute last year. There's some eye-popping figures in that, such as the fact the average housing prices have risen by about 70% since the Trudeau government came to office in 2015, and almost half of that has been just during the pandemic. So I kind of wanted to ask, we've got about 1 minute here, what do you think accounts for the sudden spike during the pandemic as opposed to the demand that existed before the pandemic hit?
Well, I think, low interest rates were a helpful contributor to push up, the prices. Multiple offers and blind bidding, in my mind, created a distorted price reality, because there were properties with a short supply and a peak demand, properties sold with 5, 10, 20 offers. And here's the reality: you could have bought a house for $500,000 more than the asking price, and that's pretty common across the country, and you were $300,000 more because of the way the real estate industry operates than the second best offer. And why should you be subjected to that? Because that $500,000 offer over asking, which was maybe $300,000 more than the second best offer, now becomes the price point reality for the next person who's going out to sell their house or to buy a house, all of a sudden it got exasperated, as I would say. 80%, 70 to 80% of all the houses that sold on MLS in Canada last year were over asking price. No one is going to pay over asking price if there's not multiple offers.